Okay, let me make sure that we are recording. All right. I think we're good. Okay, so good evening, everybody. Oh, this feels new. This feels very, very new. But yeah, this is what we are doing. This is how we are going to be doing it from now on. Good evening, everybody. My name is Daniel Ogbe, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Now, I am using Google Meet, so a couple of my friends who are also traders are also going to be joining in so that we could rub minds and share ideas on what we'll be looking at in the coming weeks or days as the market unfolds. Now, of course, this is new because I'm showing my face. I'm on my decks. It's a new experience for me, and this is what I want to do from now on, right, on the channel. I want to have it not just for me to come on here and start talking about chart, but also to build some sort of community around it so that we can have different perspective and different ideas thrown in so that you can increase your chances of making money in the markets. All right. I have some people buzzing my phone. I've been shouting on my WhatsApp status. This was kind of impromptu because I recently did, on a personal note, I recently did a YouTube interview with TechBlitz. They are a startup media house in Port Harcourt, and they wanted to interview me as the founder of Waypoints. And watching the interview when it was released, I was like, I can do this. I can have my face in front of the camera and talk, and it's not going to be. I'm not going to die, right? I am not going to die. It's going to be normal, and I'm going to do it. So I was like, okay, you know what? Instead of me coming to share my screen and talk, usually without showing my face, right? If you scroll to my other videos, I decided to, put a little bit of preparation into, the lights, camera, and action part of it all before we actually now go into why we are here, which is the charts, right? So I'm just going to dive into it. I did my analysis last week. I got into a GBP JPY trade, me personally, right? And I'm going to be analyzing why I got into the trade, Jesus, that's so embarrassing, mosquito. How I got into the trade, why I got into the trade, what I'm looking at in the coming weeks. I'm also looking at gold. Gold is really lining up nicely. I had a prediction on my Twitter or X, talking about my gold short positions. So I'm just going to be going over all of that. It's been a while, really. I came here to debunk the charts and talk about how I'm looking at things. And I really do believe that with this approach, which is having a Google Meet with my boys and girls, people, right, who trade as well, and having this community approach towards things would really now hold me accountable to dropping content like this on YouTube, right? So give me a second. Let me just answer my phone and make sure that everybody that is texting concerning this is not thinking I'm erroring them or I'm ghosting them. I do believe we should be good. I do believe we should be good. Sorry, just give me a moment. Just trying to check in with everyone, making sure that 8 is 8. It's a bit impromptu. I don't even mind doing this like alone. Yeah, but they were like, I should wait for them. Let's do it together. So I was like, no, why not? And I believe that's I'm taking a picture for proof because I have a lot of doubting Thomases in my because I have a lot of doubting Thomases in my on my WhatsApp. I didn't want to make it so big. I just want to scope it down a little bit to WhatsApp because this is actually I'm just trying things out. So this is something I'm trying out and I'm hoping it turns out well. Because if it does, then definitely I will be having more videos like this, right? Because this is easy. This is like Google Meets, you record it and you post it on YouTube. I wanted to do a YouTube stream directly from my Google Meet, but then there were some little technicalities that I couldn't really figure out. And I was like, you know what, I'm just going to do it the old-fashioned way. The old-fashioned way. All right, so I think I'll just get started. I think I will just get started. Anyone that is not joining right now is on a long 10. On a super long 10. Okay, so once again, welcome everyone to my YouTube channel, Trades by Okay. Okay is my name, but officially I go by Daniel Ogbe. My close pals call me Okay. So I was like, that adds a ring to it. So what I'm just going to do is I'm going to be jumping into the chart. I think I've spent a lot of time talking about random stuff. So I'm just going to hop back into the charts and yeah, I'll see you guys on the charts. I mean, no, sorry. I'll just share my screen. I'll just share my screen right now. What about now? Just give me a moment. Let me make sure that we are rolling. You see me rolling. They hating. Trying to catch me riding dirty. Trying to catch me riding dirty. Trying to catch me riding dirty. So I will take you guys back to my monitor, but the camera will still be here. So, bear with me, basically. I won't be exactly looking here. So, all right. So now, ladies and gentlemen, I present my charts. Share screen, and this is me. Okay. Now, welcome everyone once again. Hope I'm positioned properly. All right. Welcome everyone once again. Right. And we are just getting into the charts, into what I do best, which is coming here and dissecting the charts. If you go back to my older videos, you will see that this is what I care about. I don't even to care about showing my face. Don't be my this camera lifestyle, no be my thing like that. You get my thing are the charts, coming and reading the charts. But branding, putting yourself out there, all that good stuff. So I was like, you know what, why not? Right. And what I have here is DXY, the dollar index. Now, for anyone who's been trading for a while, you would know that the dollar index sets the pace for US-based pairs. Oh shit. For US-based pairs in general. And why we come to the dollar index first is if you can determine the dollar index trend or the trend of the dollar index, you can then have a very good educated guess as to what direction the other dollar pairs would be going, which is the AED USD, Euro USD, GBP USD, USD JPY, everything that has USD inside. You understand? So if the DXY is going up, AED USD is going to sell, right? Because you're selling the Aussie dollar against the USD, right? So that's it's that about that. So this is the monthly time frame for the DXY. Let me just I'm just going to do a quick top-down analysis of this, right? So obviously you guys know how I roll. We start from the monthly time frame. And if you notice, we've technically been in an uptrend. You see, we started off here, we had a higher low here, and then we basically have been journeying up all the way to the upside. If you look at this point here, oh, I think someone is here. Hold on. Someone is here. I think we have our first guest. I admitted the guy. Where him come go now? All right, we're good. Bad guy. What's the levels now, G? I don't think he's hearing me. But anyway, back to what I was saying. Now, this is the DXY, of course, and then we have ascertained the fact that we are in an uptrend for the dollar index. Now, looking at this part of the trend, you see, like since 2014 till about 2021, we had this major sideways movement, right? And then in this sideways movement, we now formed a double bottom, a major double bottom actually, with this being the neckline, right? After that, we bounced off this trend line and we broke this neckline for a higher high. After that, of course, we retraced back to the neckline, and now it looks like we are bouncing off the confluence of the trend line and the neckline, right? I think someone else is. Oh, we're having people. My bosses, the biggest boss in the forex space. Shout out to you so much. Shout out. Greetings. Nice to have you guys, man. Nice to have you guys. So I was just going over the DXY because I mean that sets the pace for most of the dollar-based pairs, right? So basically, I'm looking at it on a monthly time frame, right? And I'm spotting this double top and double bottom here, this neckline, this break, and then this retest. I think we have someone else. My G. We are having people. I love this. Michael, I see you, bro. I see you. My dog, I see you too. Shout out to you, man. Big shout out to all of you guys, man. So yeah, basically this is what I'm looking at, right? It's looking like we are about to fly all the way to the upside on the DXY from the monthly perspective, because this is the double bottom here. We've broken out, we've retested, and then we are coming back to this trend line to basically hold here. You see, we had a lot of indecision at this point because this is the confluence between the neckline and this trend line. And I'm quite sure if I draw my Fibonacci from swing low to swing high, we have this area too highlighted. So this is actually a very strong position. And now we are looking at a bullish engulfing monthly candle, right? So we are looking good. in terms of the dollar strength on a weekly time frame. I just had this. Even on a weekly time frame, we are having some sort of double bottom here, with this being the neckline, and then we've broken above that neckline, right? I'll just rush through because this is not exactly what I am trying to talk about. This is just to give us an idea of how exactly the DXY or the dollar strength is moving. And I can actually say, yeah, I think I'll put that there, right? I would say that we've broken the range pretty nicely. We've broken the range pretty nicely. This is the support of this range. This is the resistance of this range. And then we've broken it. The major concern, however, would be this monthly level, right? Because we can play around here. We can really play around here, or even back down and really just play around here. But the moment we break above this monthly level, then officially, we are kicking off. We are basically kicking off this journey to higher highs, because this is the low, this is the high, and this is the higher low. So now we are looking at when do we start propelling towards the next level target, which is the higher high, right? So overall direction, the DXY is looking very, very bullish, actually. And it's just a matter of time till we get the best entries for the DXY. Obviously, I don't trade the DXY, but it sets the tone for all this EU, GU, you get that kind of vibe. So now that that is said, let me talk about my own trade that I am on. So I analyzed GBP JPY last week, and no, it's not the time for Slack messages, please. I was analyzing, sorry, I took my trade, I took the trade on GBP JPY last week for a sell. So the sell trade, right? And let me remove all of this first so that I can properly explain why I am selling this bad boy. Now, let's zoom it out a bit. Now, for the longest of times, actually, we have had this guy rally to the upside, right? I thought we would reject, I thought we would have a change of trend at this point because we had a bearish engulfing candle, but we didn't, right? And now we have kind of, it's been choppy ever since, right? Which only tells me that there is very low buying power. Even if the bulls are in charge of the market right now, it's not as strong as it could be, right? Now, coming to the weekly, where my conviction started to build was the weekly time frame, when we had something like this. Now, if you notice, this pokes out of these two levels, right? I am looking at this as a head and shoulder pattern, right? Even if there is no definite neckline, because this is more of a trend line here, right? And there is no definite neckline. I am looking at this as a head and shoulder pattern because we actually are holding at this point. If I come to the monthly, you see that I have a line here marking this same spot. And what happened at this point was absolute, trenches to the downside, right? So given that, and then given what I am seeing on the weekly, it is looking like a very, very good direct selling opportunity. We could fly all the way up to the upside. As far as we are trading below this black bar, my bias is bearish. My bias is bearish. And the reason it's bearish is because look at how we reacted at first to this black zone. The moment we got to this area of interest, we had this bearish, we had this bearish engulfing candle. And then we started to recover, and then we had another bearish engulfing candle. So at this point, the tides have begun to change in a certain way. And I am only looking for certain opportunities unless we start trading above this region. That is my bias, right? Now, Dr. Onda is here. He knows how I roll. Okay, I think maybe he's not here anymore. I'm not sure. But he's here. He knows how I roll whenever I see a sell position, right? It is just a no-brainer on how to enter this trade. We got here. We had a bearish engulfing candle. We recovered. We had a double top at this point, forming a lower high here. This was the neckline. As you can see, this is the top, this is the top, this is where, this is what you would call the neckline, right? And then we broke it, and then we retested. The moment we retested, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to sell this. Ideally, right? Ideally, I would want a break. Let me remove this here. Ideally, I would want a clear break of this trend line and a retest. Then we enter the trade and we start journeying to the downside. Overall TP being 207.000, which is 100% interest net of this point, right? But then I realized that I don't have a Lamborghini. I realized I do not have a Ferrari. So why shouldn't I be aggressive? And I was like, you know what? I am just going to go for it, right? Let's put conservative trading to the side and let's get as much as we can get from this market so that I can enjoy life and not have to sit in front of my screen writing codes for 7, 8, 9 hours stretch. So that was my mindset. And that was really why I got into that on the aggressive play. And it was just very, very simple when it came to, okay, how do I enter this on the aggressive setting? If you look at it on the 4-hour time frame, we see this massive sell-off here, and then this recovery at this point. You just have to, do this. And that was it. Right? And then I had my pending orders here, and we got triggered. And initially, I was like in a really good amount of profit, but you know how the market is, right? So I am holding this because this is a nice confluence on a lower time frame. If I bring my Fibonacci here, like so, you'll see that it lines up really well. It lines up really, really well. So I'm taking this with no remorse at all, right? If I lose it all, so be it. But this is the hill I am planning to die on next week. So yeah, this is my setup, and it's still very much new. It's still very much fresh in terms of the position, in terms of how we are, where we are basically in the setup. But once we start to pick up pace, hopefully, this trend line and the confluence around this black bar I highlighted here, hopefully that holds, right? Hopefully that holds. And then we can now start seeing some lower lows, and then we can now start, seeing how we can take advantage of other retracements that might happen. Because think about it, like this point is This is the first bot stop, 210.408. This is the first bot stop, and this is where my TP is. It's about 320 something pips, right? And the overall target even is not even the 100% retracement point, which is this, which is actually still a lot of pips. This is like 630, right? So there are still going to be retracements as we journey all the way to the downside. And I'll be looking at obviously coming back here to say, okay, this is where we are at, and this is what I'm planning to do to capitalize on where we are at. Right. Well, for now, I have gotten into the trade and I am looking very keenly at this trade so that I can withdraw it and use it to celebrate my birthday. But yes, that's it for GBP JPY. I think it's pretty straightforward. I don't see why we should not be journeying all the way to the downside. Once we take out this trend line here, then jaye from there. All right. So I think I want to give the floor to someone that wants to share their screen and talk about their analysis. My boss, Uche, I greet you, sir. Swale. Solomon is my senior colleague. Oh. Yeah, I know he came and started doing humble, but he's my senior colleague in this trading too. I'm glad you joined, bro. I'm glad you joined. Thank you for joining us. But does anyone have anything? Do you have anything that you want to share with us? No seafood chop, if at all, no feed chop. You understand? Because I have gold. I want to talk about gold. I'm not on gold right now, but I want to talk about gold because it's in a good spot. Right? It's in a very good spot. But before then, I want to give the floor out to someone. Like, do you have anything, someone?
Not really. Though I didn't join with my system, but yeah, on the GBP JPY, please go back to your charts.
Okay.
So basically, I shared same bias with you.
Okay.
Yes, we can clearly see that price was actually trending upward, but at that zone you marked for about 3 consecutive times, price has failed to break above it. Uh, is signaling a reversal sign. You can see that though is not too visible, but no matter how small, you can see that price has stopped making higher highs. It's now switching to from the double top. It's not trying to make a lower low, which obviously that trend line is actually going to be broken.
Yeah.
So actually a high probability setup, and
Yeah.
your bet is actually reasonable. You're not being greedy here. That's actually a good target because once price breaks the um, particular trend line, the logical place for price to go to is where obviously you have your targets, your profit targets.
Mm.
So that being said, I share the same bias on this trade. So, and I was also planning on looking at GBP JPY when I get on my system, and which I will eventually do that, and I would also put this bias at the back of my mind because from what I can see here, this doesn't need much analysis for me again because it aligns with what I would do if I'm taking this trade. So it's
Yeah.
a course.
Yeah. No, yeah. Yeah. It is. It is a high probability setup. You're right. You're right. You're right. You see, real recognize real. But yes, it is a high probability setup. Actually, it's a good one. You know, Solomon, that I have not been trading actively for the longest, but for a trade to my drag me out of my dormancy and say, okay, let's start actively trading, then no. Na sharp setup, sharp babe. Michael, you've been quiet. Do you have anything you'd like to share? You'd like to share with us? Like, I want you guys to be involved in this. It's really important that we have diverse in ideas so that it's beneficial for when I watch these videos back.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. I'm just here to learn. So
They whine
yeah,
me, say you are yet to learn. See my oga. Oh God.
kudos, well done. I greet everybody. Oh.
Good evening, Michael.
Yeah.
Good evening.
So, good news and wisdom. I don't know if you guys have anything, because I want to go into gold, because gold is not looking bad actually. Raymond is meant to be here.
Well, I've been looking at I'm not going to lie, I'm looking at the market here, and I
Yeah.
feel like there is switch soon. I don't know if
That what exactly is
what is
switching?
happening, yeah, globally, what is happening and everything, and the fact that I think um, dollar is at the brink of having a switch. I'm not going to lie. It's like whether it's going up or down now. So following, I didn't know because I've not really had time to look at the charts, But I just thought there was going to be a
Yeah.
shift either up or down. But following the DXY charts you opened and like
Yeah,
looking at
that's why I was
everything, now you
pulling it
can
up.
you can now really tell, okay, this is where it's heading. You get so it
Yeah,
can help now to in other trades especially. You get
yeah,
all those kind of things,
yeah,
especially trades that are tied to like the dollar price and everything. So I'm
yeah,
not going to
yeah.
like this is very informative. Thank you for this session. Okay.
No wahala, no wahala, no wahala, no wahala. Because another thing is the GU and the GJ pairs, they have a way of moving alike, right? And if we are saying that, okay, with how the GXY is moving, there's a high chances of the GU selling, then that's an extra layer of confidence into like GJ selling as well. You grab.
Mm. Yeah. You explained to me that day now.
Yeah. So like, my God, it's now Raymond is downloading Google Meet. Oh my gosh. It's not nine ginger me, say more gear analysis. I was like, you know what? Why not just open it to everybody instead of just me and him?
Makes sense. It's a nice get together,
Yeah,
to
it's
look at
actually
charts
it's not.
together.
Yeah, you get uh, join in where you can. Sorry, please just give me a moment. All right, so back to what we're doing. I'm not really looking at EJ because I know EJ is not really. I'm not really looking at EJ. EJ is not a high probability trade compared to GJ. GJ is big, I swear. Now I'm looking at gold, and I think this is where I would want to start wrapping it up. Unless when we start talking about stocks, I know that some of my guys here, that's their segment, but no problem. So I'm looking at gold very keenly, And of course, gold has been buying massively for the longest. Gold has been seriously buying massively for the longest of times, with the whole international thing going around, right? Now, we had this bearish engulfing candle here, massive. And then we now had like 3 straight months where we are just straight on selling. While this gives us that bias of selling, right? It's like it's been crazy sales. Like I had an analysis from, I think, this bar to sell all the way down here, but I think the trade hit my SL before it even went to my direction. That was the last trade I took, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to do something else with my life. But it's now looking like, okay, we have gotten to this point. Because if you notice here, we had this rejection from this region back down. And almost always, when we have a market rejection like this, where we come here, but we close at a certain point, it will take a while, but eventually we get to that point, right? So that's like a rule of thumb, because if you notice here, unless it's not part of the trend, if it's not part of the trend, then I mean, of course, you can go up and then close below a key level and then reverse. Of course, that's not part of the trend. But if it's a downtrend like this one now, and we get to a certain point, but we reject, it is going to take a while, but eventually we will come back to that region and close, right? So that's what has happened here anyway. And the reason why I wanted Raymond here was because he sent me his gold sell setup. And I was of the opinion that it's already too late to jump into a gold sell, actually. And I would explain why shortly. Okay. All right. So I'll explain why shortly. Now, if you look here, right, you see from a weekly, we had the bearish engulfing candle and all of that, right? Now, if you look here, we broke down below this level, right? And then we retraced. This is the move. From here to here is the move, is the selling move. If you look at this guy here, I believe, okay, yeah. See that we had the confluence here, and then we had the lower low, and then we dropped. Sorry, the lower high rather, and then we dropped. To come and start selling here, it's not advisable. I would not advise it, right? Is it selling? Yes, for sure, 100%. Sell trade. Even me, if I'm looking to sell, you get. But I feel at this point, it is just profit taking. It is just profit taking that is happening here. The move has happened, and now people are just going to take profits, right? Because, I mean, if you look left, let me go to a weekly. If you look left, you'll see that this region is quite significant. I usually use bars, as you guys know, but I'm using line because, well, time no day. So yeah, at this region, definitely I am expecting profit taking, 100%, right? And now, where do we retrace to? Or where is this exhaustion going to happen next? Like, I just look at it as, okay, profits has been taken out. It's going to retrace up to the upside, right? Where is the most probable place that would act as a turning point? All right. Now, one, I've had this trend line here. that has had 2 touches. Let me make sure I'm doing this. Okay. Yeah. That has had 2 touches. Ideally, I'll be looking for a 3rd touch on this trend line. Wisdom, you know how I roll now. 3rd touch, Fibonacci,
No, man,
confluence.
Touch the charm.
You understand? Confluence, and we move, right? So that is what I am looking for here. And if I don't have that, then it's not probable. Like, it's not a high probability trade, and I wouldn't want to be in that mess. That's what I wanted to explain to Raymond, because he was talking about selling here, that, oh, gold is selling, gold is giving life-changing money. True, right? But positioning matters the most. Positioning matters the absolute most, right? So what I am looking at here, let me see if I can take it from here and draw an inner trend line. I wouldn't even advise this, to be honest. But let me go to a 4-hour time frame to see how we are working. Try to see I'm now that year, I be that month, I deal entry, I put everything finished, top SL. Oh God. But let me make this visible to 4-hour time frame. All right. Let me take all of this out. All right, so we are here. Technically, we've had this move. We've had this bearish move. We've had the retracement. It's a lower low, but it's not. This level is still holding. Excuse me. This level is still holding, right? And the very fact that we don't have a clear break only means that the bulls still have a say in this market. The bulls are not meant to have hope by the time I'm entering. That's how I would prefer it to work, right? But this one, that they still have fighting chance, then it's a problem. So what am I going to do? I'm going to wait for a retracement point, right? And that is very, very, very that's like the most probable, that's the most logical thing to do, to wait for a retracement. I think that should be easy life. My boss, I am loyal, sir. I am loyal, sir. I see standing ovation. I am loyal, sir. Welcome. People, you guys don't know him, but he's one of my mentors in this trading game. And you're very, 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 very much welcome. I know I used to whine all of you that year, but no, he is actually one of the people that I look up to in the game, and he's well experienced. But yes, welcome. We're just talking about gold, right? And obviously, gold has been buying for the longest. Just a quick recap. Gold has been buying for the longest, and now we've seen good bearish engulfing candles on the monthly and weekly time frame, and now we're on the 4-hour time frame trying to find where is best to enter a sell-off, right? So as I was saying, we got here, which is the 100% retracement of this move here, right? But even if it's a lower low, technically, we are not breaking this region. We are not breaking this region, and that is a problem. So what I would do this week that we are entering is to find the most probable spot. I don't like this region at all. I'd rather take this point. Right? To find the most probable spot where we would retrace to and then wait. That would be the game plan. To find the most probable position we might retrace to, I'll just highlight that. Right? I'll highlight that and then highlight this is and then highlight that as well. Okay, already, so I'll just do this. So let me take out all of this. Okay, my chart. So let me use this. Right, so it now depends on how far we can push, how long this retracement is going to span out for, technically. If we come here and we start to see some sell-off or some selling patterns forming, then I'm well within my right to use this high and this low and use this retracement point or this 50 and the 61.8, this region as my area of interest or my point of interest, whatever, right? And then we now start looking at selling off to the downside. But if we get here and I'm still seeing like the bulls still have some hope to push this market in a certain direction, then I'll be looking at this point, which is actually the main point because it lines up with this daily trend line. And then that would now be a daily retracement. Because coming here, we may not. But if we are here, like if we are at this confluence, then most likely that is the confluence that will hold. Because if you look at here, this is the support that has turned resistance. This is the trend line, and we have the fib. So this is the region I would ideally want us to capitalize on. But if you get here and it's like the selling power is too much because we are in a bearish market and we don't get here, then I'll just maybe reduce my risk drastically and then get into the market. Obviously, take profits. First TP is 100% retracement point, and then from there we just journey to the downside, right? But my money, my percentage, like the higher probability for me would be this black bar that I have marked out here because of all the confluences that follow it, or the confluence that follows it. All right, so this is what I am looking at. To recap, GBP JPY, I'm already in the game for that one, and I am already, I don't want to call it profit, but it's profit, but like, you know, it's like $2-3, so I don't want to even look at that one as profit. The main thing is the positioning. If the positioning is right, which I really do believe about 80 to 85% in this game, in this particular setup, right? Once we start to gain some momentum, then I might even add some more positions. Obviously, when we break this trend line and we retest, I will be looking to add some more positions, right? So that's about it from me. I'm not talking about Euro JPY. For gold, I am still looking at it, but it's a very, very, very sexy lady, actually, because look at this guy here. Look at this guy here. Look at this guy here. If we come back down here, even if it's a lower high, but we meet this confluence, then we are looking good. All right. So, all right, this is actually officially where I round up and say my goodbyes, but I know my guys in the crowd and the congregation want to see some stocks. They know themselves. They know themselves. So let's look at the man of the hour when it comes to the stock market, which is Iron Q. Shout out to my dog in the house, Wisdom, for putting me on this particular stock. He gave me this update when it was about $27, $28 per share, and I bought it then, and now we are currently trading at like 49, even if we've had this massive retracement point. I mean, this massive retracement here, right? What do I believe for this? I actually do believe that we are going for all-time high. We're talking about $84 per share, $100 per share, as you see I've marked here, right? This is just a retracement to this guy, because we blew past this guy, and even if we retraced and then we bounced off, you know, this you need to have, it's like in an uptrend, you have a small retracement, you have a small retracement, you need to have a major retracement that actually counts, right, before we now start. So I'm still bullish on this. You can see my Fibonacci here, right? And you can see that this is still an area of interest. So once we start bouncing off this, I might even, if I have the money liquid, I might even add to what I already have on the share so that I can take out more when we are at this 100% retracement point. And why did I buy it? It's actually very simple. I don't know if everyone trades stocks, but for me, chart is chart, right? If you know how to do it properly, it doesn't matter the market, right? So it was just a very, very straightforward thing when Wisdom told me about it. Shout out to you again, Wizzy. So when he told me about it, we were already trading here. It was like a no-brainer. We were on an uptrend, and we had a massive, sell to the downside. This was a low, and this was a higher low, even if it was like a massive sell-off. And I was like, you know what? Let's go to the weekly. Yeah. And I was like, you know what? If this guy, this black bar here, does not hold to give us a shoulder, head and shoulder, then there is no reason why we should not be moving to the upside for all-time highs, right? Plus the news, of course, I had to do some background check on the company and like their competitors and all that, but it was mainly what I was seeing on the chart that was like my deciding factor. And yeah, of course, you can still get in. I feel this retracement is a good opportunity to take advantage of. If you are not already on the trade, you can definitely take advantage of it when we now bounce off this guy. And of course, for the culture, you have your fib levels. Yeah, buddy. So yeah, I do not see why we should not be pushing to the upside, and hopefully I get some liquid. As Wisdom always says, liquid is the most important. You can analyze it as much as possible, but if you don't have the liquid cash, then it's all for naught. So that's my time here. I feel like I've been talking for a very, very long time, but it's necessary to set the pace for the week and even for the coming weeks in general. So I don't know if anyone has anything to, contribute, add, questions, concerns, what am I missing? Because we are all still learning. I'm still trying to sharpen my skills, as much as I can. So if there's anything at all that I might have missed and you want to point out, please feel free so that I can let you guys go back to your evening. I don't think anybody is anybody have anything to say? I want to wrap this up actually. They don't text me for Slack. So so I have to get that actually. So I think not. So in the absence of no comments or questions, I want to stop sharing my screen now and good night, everyone. I really do appreciate all of you coming here. This is something I'm trying out, and I want to be consistent with this. This video is going on YouTube, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned, I'm recording this so that I can post it on my YouTube because there's a bit of technical difficulty when it comes to streaming directly. So I'm recording this, I'm posting on YouTube. Hopefully I get all your consents for that. And yes, with no further ado, I guess this is good night, gentlemen. We don't have a lady yet here. So thank you very much, guys, for coming. I really do appreciate you guys. But take it easy now. No Allah.
Night.
All right, now, no Allah. Good night, my G's. Okay, and everybody is gone now. So you watching from the comfort of your house, obviously they were all at home, but if you didn't join this and you're watching it off YouTube, thank you very much for sticking to the end of this lengthy video. I sound like somebody I know by saying this, but it's fine, it's YouTube. Thank you very much. If you want more content like this, please hit the subscribe icon, hit the bell icon, hit the like button, hit all of the buttons you are available to you, share, like, comment, everything, so that you get notified anytime I drop a video like this. All right, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, this is good night and see you next week. It will.